Welcome. It's Dave here. Today is a very important topic. It's nutrition and spirituality, especially with respect to doing energy work in kundalini and alchemy, inner alchemy, all that kind of stuff. I want to clarify what I've had in my experiences and what I've come to help sort of help you on your journey if you're on the same journey. And I think there's a lot out there about what different people say about what you should be eating if you're doing kundalini work or energy work or on the spiritual path. And there's quite a bit that I don't agree with. And I'll just share my experiences and what I've come to over the years. I have been a nutritionist for the last 10 years, so I do have quite a bit of knowledge and background on this, but there's a big difference between when you are doing energy work and kundalini practice versus not. And the big difference here is access to life force. So everybody has life force in them, and it's what keeps you alive and keeps you going. But when you start doing energy work and energetic practices, a person gains a lot more access to that life force in greater and greater quantities over time. And that dramatically changes a person's physiology. And you have all of these, your congenital energy channels, which are big, solid energy channels that are up to about 4 inches wide that go up and down through these different pillars in your body. And the more those energy channels clear, the more effect they have on your physiology and the more dominant your access to life force and how much life force flows up and down these channels affects your body and your physiology. And so the main thing here is that the more access to life force that you have through your energetic practice, the more efficient your body becomes at taking nutrients from food and accessing the life force component of food. So you get a lot more. So you don't actually need as much when you're on this practice or when you're doing kundalini work or on the spiritual path. And I think that's really key, because there's a difference between eating like that and just eating, or what your needs are for your spiritual practice and what you need for say performance, or if you're working out in a gym or running a 10K or anything like that. But in the end, what it still comes down to is your vitality and your health. And for most people out there, they don't have a lot of access and they're not doing energy work for their life force. But when they get into the spiritual community and you start learning about kundalini and energy work and alchemy, they automatically jump into, I have to eat vegan, or I have to eat and restrict a whole lot of foods, or I have to do a lot of fasting to reach higher levels of consciousness and higher states of being. And that really isn't the case, because there's a large difference between someone who's been doing energy work for many, many years, for decades, and someone who's just starting on the practice and starting on the path, and how that affects their physiology. So I'm not really a big fan of fasting for beginners. That could be for an advanced person, because they have so much access to the life force within them that they don't need as much food anymore. But most people in this day and age need to heal their bodies first. The point is, you cannot get access to your own life force to use for inner alchemy when your body is sick, when your body is tired, when you're so overweight that you're on diabetes, or you're on medication, or you have digestive issues or thyroid issues, whatever it is. When your body is unhealthy, all of that decreases your access to your life force available for your inner alchemy work. because that life force is then used, and your body will automatically use that to try and heal you and to try and fight against all of the inner imbalances and chemical imbalances that your body has to deal with. And so the big problem here is a lot of people are coming in and are very polluted. We're just born into a polluted world, and that was one of the biggest problems and challenges I had in my alchemy, is that I had a lot of problems with mercury and aluminum, and no matter how much I tried to do some fasting or eat vegan or do whatever diet to try and enhance the energy work, the energy was always going to be pulled back and not liberated because it was dealing with toxicity. My body, excuse me, my body was dealing with toxicity issues. And so the best diet that you can eat for your alchemy or for your spiritual practice is actually the diet that is best for your body. You're not eating for your spirit, because your spirit really doesn't need food. It just doesn't. It's pure energy. It exists on its own in accord and separate from your own body. So you have to eat and find the foods that provide you with the most vitality and heal your body. And if you have health issues, that is what you have to tackle first before you can go deeper into your energetic practice and your alchemy. And when the body needs to heal itself, it does need protein. And so most people on the scale, if this is the scale of nutrition, and on this end we've got high-end veganism and high-end fasting, and on this end we've got sort of ketogenic and high protein, high fat. Most people, 70% of people, are actually going to be right in the middle, right in a mixed, balanced diet with good quality vegetables and fruits and high antioxidant, high life force foods with a little bit of animal protein. And that is going to be 70% of the people. Their biology will work best for that. And now on the ends, you've got 10 to 15% that are going to work really efficiently and very well with vegan, and 10 to 15% that are really efficient and very good with ketogenic type diets. But the vast majority of people sit right in the middle. And here's where the other thing that I think people go wrong is that, or not wrong, but they're just not aware of, is that a healthy body should be able to adapt, right? To have vitality means you have adaptive energy. And so you can shift on that scale and shift more towards a vegan diet, and you'll still feel good, you'll still feel energetic, or you'll shift a little bit more towards keto, but not to the extremes on either side, but you'll still feel good. So here's a very, very key point, is that, when your body is not healthy, it forces you to one end of the spectrum or the other. And when I was dealing with my toxic metal issues, I had to go high protein, high fat for a while. I had to go vegan for a while, and it oscillated back and forth between what health issue my body was dealing with. And when your body is not in adaptive energy and isn't healthy, it forces you to one side or the scale of the other, but eventually you always want to come back to the middle. But you have to be very in tune with your body to know that. So you're not trying to fast to starve your body, to bring energy up, your life force up the energy channels to your higher energy centers for enlightenment, if it's going to harm your body, because the energy is just not going to be liberated. It's not going to be let go of. Your body will always use that energy for healing and health. So the point here is, no matter what anyone tells you, you have to listen to your body. You have to try on the spectrum, a little more vegan, a little more vegetarian, try balanced. You have to try experience about 3 to 6 months on each of these diets, a little more keto, to really understand where you feel the most vital and where you feel the most energy, where your emotions are balanced, where your sleep is good, where your digestion is healthy, and you're motoring along without the assistance or the need for any type of coffee or other type of stimulant. or even depressive like weed or anything like that. So you can just run smoothly and efficiently on your own. So this sort of general rule, eating for your health, for your spiritual practice, I would say applies to most people. Now, once you get to the higher sort of upper echelons of your spiritual practice, where you're accessing and you have large amounts of energy flow up and down your spine and up and down through your central channel, that changes everything. But not many people are at that level. So most people eat for your health, eat for your vitality first, and then when you get to those upper levels of inner alchemy, then things change a little bit. You can become so efficient with your food that you don't need a lot, and you're not having a lot of physical stress on the body, because at those levels, you're not exercising intensely, you're not going to be working 12 hours a day. There's all sorts of different factors involved, but you will have so much more access to life force at this level that you just won't need to eat, and your appetite will fall away gradually, because that is what having more access to life force means. You've got like the power of 1,000 suns within you, and if you can access that, that gives you so much more energy and so much more access to energy that the dietary changes change. But like I said, most people not at that point. Eat for your health, eat a balanced diets, real foods, whole foods, foods with a lot of life force. Stay away from the processed foods. There's more to it, obviously, but that's just what I want to get across for this video. Know where you are on the spectrum, know what is best for your body, and be honest about where you are in your energetic work and in your spiritual practice. And don't ever let your body or health suffer because you have to do some extreme fasting or eat a very extreme diet because you think it's going to bring more levels of spiritual enlightenment. It's not. It's just harming your body. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and take care, and much love to everyone.